Guys, welcome to episode number 13 of the Derby Covered Live, and to start off this episode we do have the semi-final game in the Carabao Cup against Sunderland. But before we do that, I'm actually going to head over to the transfer hub and we're going to make a signing. It is going to be a loan signing and it is going to be for Robert Gumney, just because we kind of do need a backup right back, and I may look at AMPADU as well. But mainly in this January transfer window, we're going to look at loans and maybe like one, maybe two permanents, and possibly something on the pre-contract signing front. That could be also an option. We've got a few youngsters here who can do a job up front, and we'll have a look at those later on in the episode a little bit better. But for the time being, we're going to head into Gumney and hopefully we can get him. So I'm not 100% sure what I actually want, because if short term does it until the end of the season, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I think 1 year goes to next January, so we'll go for a short-term loan. We don't really need him, but it's nice to have that backup. Sure, we're happy to let him go on a short-term. We're going to see if we can get Barcelona to pay the majority of the wages. We'll go for the 40%. And there we go, 40-60. Maybe I could have got like 30-70 for him, but I think still 10k wages isn't too bad at all. We do need to wait for the player, though. I have actually forgotten about that. You need to wait for the player to accept the loan, so maybe he won't want to join us, but we'll wait and see. So let's into the first game then against Sunderland, who still have Aidan McGeady. There's a few decent players, of course, from that Premier League side. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we're playing this new 5-2-2-1, and seems to be working well, but we're going to have to make a few changes for the next one. Here's the Sunderland team then for today's game. We have actually gone to a 4 at the back, just because we don't really have the personnel to have 3 centre-backs, essentially. So we've had to go back to 2, with Curtis Davis and Wisdom going in there. Very decent Sunderland team. Didier Ndong technically shouldn't be there because he's had his contract torn up, basically. Lee Cattermole next to him, very good player. Watmore and McGeady out wide, very good indeed. Gooch is decent. Oviedo played for Everton. There's a lot of very good players in this Sunderland team, so it is going to be a tough test to get to the final, and that is what we're looking for. Wilson with the ball. Can he get a decent shot off? Taking it well, timed it perfectly, and it is the Welshman with the goal in the first 30 minutes to get us into the lead in this 2-round affair in the semi-final. Hasn't exactly played that much. I think I've played him a lot less than, basically the same amount as Mason Bennett, so not too many games at all. So it's good when he gets a chance that he can actually score a goal. One thing I kind of want to do with Mount and Wilson especially, since they're so young, I kind of don't want to play them, because obviously when, let's say we get the money to afford them, we don't want them to be at a position where it's just going to cost us an arm and a leg to get them. Chance here in the box. It's a good header, saved, blocked off the line by Wisdom. He's been flipping amazing this game. Don't know how that didn't go in the back of the net. As you can see, Carson with the save. And then just as good as a block from Wisdom to keep it out, and it is a corner now. Full time again against Sunderland. It is a 1-0 victory in the end in the first leg. Obviously, it'll be nice to take that into the away fixture, and it's the main thing was not conceding, because I'm not 100% sure how away goals work. This message is a bit strange because he's already at Barcelona. I don't know if it's because they signed him in the summer and I can't loan him in January, basically. I think that's where the game's slightly broken. So unfortunately we're not going to be able to get Gumney, so I'm going to have to potentially look for someone else. As you can see, one thing I could always do, I think the other alternative is bringing a centre-back and move either Tomori or Wisdom, who was actually incredible in that last game. I must say, without Wisdom, probably would have been 3-1 to Sunderland. He blocked like a good 2 or 3 good chances. So yeah, maybe bringing in AMPADU, who was suggested by you guys, might be a little bit more logical than actually bringing in Gumney. Let's head over to the transfer hub then. I do kind of want Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, and I don't really want to just be basically a Chelsea youth team. Another thing about AMPADU is he's only 6 foot tall and not the strongest. He's only got 68th strength as a centre-back, but in a 3 at the back it might work. Very good passing actually at 74. I'm kind of tempted to buy him on a permanent, you know, because if I loan him now, grow him by like 3 or 4 ratings, he's going to be worth like triple the money. So financially it might make sense just to purchase AMPADU. And he is obviously got a face scan. He's very young, obviously got a decent potential. So let's see if Chelsea are interested in selling him. I don't know if that's meant to be sorry or something. Obviously he didn't have time to get his face scan, but nevertheless I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. As you can see, we have got decent at 6 million. We've got quite a bit of money to use. I'm going to go 750,000, just be really cheeky and see if that will work. So they're actually going for 780, which I'm quite surprised at with his current value at 975,000. I'm more than happy to accept that. There's no future sell on fee. Obviously, he's going to be a youngster and grow quite a bit. So we will remove Gumney from here just because we don't need him now. Looking at the strikers that I mentioned at the start of the episode, let me just sort by position. We do have Favilli here from Juventus. Very good stats indeed for a 6'3" guy. Almost 75-80 pace. Very good strength as well, and even better ball control for a player of that kind of ability. Haven't seen his potential or anything, so it would be completely wild, so we'll have to wait and see what the scout report says. Same here with Romero. He's not quite as tall, I think, yeah, 5'10", but still very good stats from PSV in the Eredivisie. Then we got Calvert-Lewin here, what's suggested by you guys. The thing is about Calvert-Lewin is he's a bit like Solanke, a bit of a boring career mode transfer. Like, everyone can just make those signings, but they're kind of realistic at the same time. Like, Derby are the kind of team that Calvert-Lewin would go to if he went out on loan, but a bit more of an Everton starter. So let me know on Calvert-Lewin if I should get him or not. I'm still going to wait and see what the overalls for these two are. Same with Kirk as well. I wouldn't mind just purchasing Kirk if he's around 2 or 3 million. We've got about 6, so plenty of money to spend. Let me just go into the contract stage then for Ethan AMPADU. It's crazy how big that hair is, and yeah, he's looking for sporadic. I'm really happy with that squad role. Hopefully his wage is around the 7 grand as well, because then it's essentially quite a cheap transfer for us. We'll give him a 5-year contract. They're happy with that. Good to see. That is incredible. 5k wages and 43 signing on bonus. That is honestly, in terms of, like, even if you're like a League One team, you could probably afford this. And a player that would be great for Road to Glory. Obviously, he's highly rated at Chelsea, and kind of annoyed that he didn't get loaned out, to be honest. He's obviously not going to play too much at Chelsea, but we have signed him now, and yeah, it gives us a chance to play that 5 at the back. So yeah, here's the new signing. It's only the height, really, and even the height's not too bad. If you look at Wisdom, who's 6'1", he's only an inch taller. Wisdom's perfectly fine. We will need to increase his jumping slightly, but even 78's quite decent. But in terms of strength, tackling stats, we're going to put him into some training and hope to get him up to a 70 by the end of the season. Another transfer offer for Richard Keogh from Atletico Mineiro in the Brazilian League. Going to be rejecting that. I think he's still got a good couple of years on his contract. Calarus will be leaving to Shanghai Shenhua at the end of the season. Really not bothered. And then there's a approach here for David Nugent. Again, not that bothered. I think by the end of the season he won't be very usable at all, but it's nice to see him going to Botafogo. Celtic also looking at David Nugent. That's good to see. And a transfer offer from Swansea City for George Thorne, who's been pretty good for us this season, I must say. It's a bit of a shame he's not quite grown as much as I'd wanted, but he is a bit older now, so he's not going to be quite as easy to grow, but still should be able to grow by the end of the season. Loan offer from Basel for Max Lowe. Again, we'll be rejecting those. And transfer negotiations from Nugent has broken down with Botafogo. It will be kind of cool for him to go to Celtic, obviously still quite a big team. And yeah, looking at the league, we're back in the Championship after that win in the Carabao Cup. Leeds are just below us, so we definitely don't want to lose this game, because it basically put us where Brentford are, where there's quite a bit of a gap between us and the playoffs at the minute. It's only a point, so if we can win, potentially we'll go in there. Away at Elland Road then, we will be going for our away kit, giving Leeds their home kit. I think this was actually the game where it was the last time we played on Legendary, basically, because before that it just wasn't difficult enough. Basically, it was far too easy to be able to win the game. So I think we're going to go for that, but we might have to actually play Ethan AMPADU for his debut just because of fitness. That's kind of, yeah, we're going to have to put Tamori at right back and go for something like that. I'm thinking of going him there, Keogh in the middle, then Wisdom on the left. I think that's probably the best setup. As you can see, a massive game for both clubs, and it is going to be a heated affair to see who comes out on top. Having a look at the Leeds United team, then obviously we've got AMPADU coming in for his debut. It's kind of tempted to put Simon back in goal, but then again, Carlson did keep a clean sheet and probably has kept more clean sheets than Simon when we've given him a chance. Their team is Blackman in goal, Aileen Cooper, Pontus Janssen, Barry Douglas, then Calvin Phillips in the midfield with Samu Says and Forshaw in front of him. Hernandez and Aliovski out wide, and Kemal Roof up top. Very, very good team, must say, Leeds United. And here's ours. It's going to be interesting to see how AMPADU does on his debut. I've kind of had to throw him in at the deep end due to fitness, but nevertheless, should do well. I'm going to see how Thorne and Hendrick do in the midfield as well. And hopefully Chris Martin can get a goal in his third game since coming back. Chance here for Leeds. Kemal Roof with the shot, and Kemal Roof with the goal at the near post to make it 1-0. I was kind of expecting him to put it into his stronger foot, his left, but kept it on that right, and it was enough to find the back of the net. I don't know if he's actually got a face scanned. I don't know how he would have got his face scanned, to be honest, but it does look very much like him. As you can see, he's got that pace to break through the fence and find the back of the net to make it 1-0. Chance here for Martin. Can he get the shot off? Yes, he can. Chris Martin with his first goal against Leeds since coming back from his loan. Really needed that goal just for his confidence and obviously to get back into the game. He's got us back on level terms, and he's actually, I don't know if I meant to do it with Jeff Hendrick, but I kind of domied it there with him. Maybe it was just a miscontrol, but a lovely finish into the top right hand corner to make it 1-0 and to get us back into the game. Chance here for Leeds. It's gone round the defender, and I don't know what that was there. I really don't know why none of my defenders reacted to that, and it is the substitute there to nick it and to make it, 2-1 in the game. I think it's Lewis Baker. I don't know where that came from, honestly. As you can see, Keogh kind of blocks it, goes out wide, win it with Tamori. I don't know if it's Tamori's tackle, just too powerful for AMPADU to read it, and it's gone past him, and it's made it 2-1 against Leeds. Martin with the ball out wide here, pulled it across for Ledley with the shot, saved by the keeper. He did pretty much kick it straight at him, and that is probably going to be that. I doubt we're going to get another chance. And there's full time against Leeds United. It is a loss. This time at Elland Road. Chris Martin with the goal, which was nice. He had a couple of other chances that could have potentially gone in. But I don't know what we missed in that game, but it just wasn't quite the same performance. As you can see, not the most amount of shots and not the most amount of possession, but at least Martin with the man of the match. I kind of went all out attack in the last second, or ultra attacking, sorry. So all the players just mixed up. Kellen Gordon also coming back from Lincoln City loan. We have got the scout report here for Brewster, then 64 rated. I don't think that's going to help us. I don't think that's going to be good enough. Decent pace, and obviously at 18 years old can grow, but for the time being, I just don't think he's quite good enough. We'll wait for Solanke in the next episode to really make a decision on what we kind of need up front. But obviously Martin in that last game was quite decent. I maybe should have brought off him after scoring that goal, because I think in the last like 20 minutes he doesn't quite have the effectiveness. A few messages here then. David Nugent is going to be joining Celtic at the end of his contract. That's good to see. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been approached for a loan. The thing is, like, I just don't think it's realistic. That's the thing about Loftus-Cheek. I just don't see him joining a championship team. He was on loan at Crystal Palace last season. I wouldn't mind buying him on a permanent if we do get promoted to the Premier League, but I think for the time being we're going to leave him there. And actually Leeds have sold Pablo Hernandez, who was one of the best players in that last game against us. Tournament prize money then for getting through to the next round of the FA Cup. Let me just have a quick look and see who our next opponent is. Hopefully it has been scheduled, and it has been put against Chelsea. It is the away game against them. It's going to be a tough one. Obviously we beat them last month, so you never know, we might get lucky again. But I think this time it actually does say that we're away from home, so it is going to be a little bit more difficult in the FA Cup, of course, a bit more of a bigger competition. And with the game against Sunderland, we do have a goal advantage, but I still want to play a good team and make sure we get the win. So not 100% sure what we're going to be like in the next episode against Chelsea. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this one. Leave a like rating on any signings you want me to make, and see you soon. Bye.